Good evening. Yesterday we did some code cleanup. I don't know if we've done enough yet. There are still some structural things that bother me a little bit, like I might want to get get the layout with the boons data-wise, and that might end up kind of being a prerequisite to getting line stuff. But I kind of want to see if I can get something going on here to prove out the way we're identifying things in the CAD drawings, in case there's stuff I need to be working on in the drawings themselves. Of course, there's a lot of pieces to that, like like scale, which is going to mean getting everybody in. And actually, I kind of want to do a little side project. I wonder if I can like overlay something on top of these icons to make it more clear which is available and which is active and things like that. Because that'll kind of interrelate with which lines are active. Okay, so text, image. I think the circle was like a really old. Stand-in. So we ended up not doing scaling here. So I would like to put something more or less directly on top of that image. I'm assuming we're going to have some kind of, yeah, square would work. Just a size. Now that's a shape. A shape, this would be filled. Okay, so we have a color for the near. I really want to change transparency. I don't even know if this does transparency. Well, if I just make it black, we're not going to be able to see anything. Okay. So this is the size of one side. Let's see, so that's saying rendered, and then we do this stuff. Huh, what is that, an 8th turn? So that would work, but it would also give us a border. Huh. I'm sure there's a nice formula for how we do that. So if this was a square inscribed around here, I guess 0.9 was the length of a side. And this would be the diagonal of a right equilateral triangle. Is that square root 2? Oh, that was actually behind it. For some reason I thought, well, yeah, okay, bottom, top, text on top of that. Okay, that is, wait, we might want to be a little bit bigger because I'm seeing some edge there. And this is actually going to make that entire thing dark, which could work. All right, so realistically, this would be like black, which is just going to make them invisible. All right. Or is this a color thing? Do the colors support alpha? RGBA. Now, none of these are going to be alpha. Is there a thing to modify a color? Do I have to start from scratch? Nope. That's transparent. Opacity. Oh. I guess I never thought to look at that. Although, with stuff appearing behind it, that might not be what we want. Yeah, actually, that's not quite what we want. Well, it'd be good for these bigger things that may be blocking stuff out, but still. Okay, so that's opaque but dark. Now, I don't think I want color. Although that does have the effect of kind of lighting it up. Also, it's not quite enough color. So there's that. There is... There's going to be opacity. Opacity is, let's see, if we're doing dark, that would actually kind of be the inverse. A high value of opacity would give us lots of the black to cover it out. So it'd sort of be the inverse of this. That's sort of appropriate. Ooh. Are we having some edges not quite covering? Well, now it's not too bad. So you can just kind of barely see that that's there. Click detection. Oh my god. Okay, so these lit up those, and then we'll have lines there that will... click detection. Wow, I'd swear it's getting worse over time. Really? The rect that is obviously being drawn behind everything. I was hoping to put off that click detection issue, but it's like, it's gonna prevent me from actually testing stuff here. Let's see. Okay, well, actually I need to click U. That goes into a lot of this stuff. Okay. Works with the duos too. Oop. Okay, so a little change to you. Availability coloring. Ooh. I'm seeing a little edge there. Maybe some of that's actually text. Actually, one way to fix the text layering would be to do like all icons and then all text. Did I click on you? I must have clicked on you, okay. All right, now I want to do something with the lines. So we display a connector, we have only the shape information. Duo connectors are going to have some pretty complicated networks, but they're going to be, we're going to have to figure out how to tie them into these things. The icons themselves, we've just got data for. You are going to have, let's see, layout has connections. Connections have groups and links. So having the boon that's in a link would activate its associated group. Now this gets metrics and layout, and it's producing only a shape. This is where we have to have some kind of, well, no, the shape has no data about what group it's in or anything. We have to have something else there. Did I leave my connector or connection? No. We've got a connector shape. Actually, or is layout connection? Your connection. So now we have to push back to a connector. Which is going to have a shape. So to figure everything out at the point of drawing, we would include all of that information. To figure it out at the time of translation to a connector, we would just include some sort of availability status. The paradigm we have so far is that we figure that out for the icons themselves at the point of drawing them. Which means we want to include link and group stuff here, but this might end up requiring more processing. If I use any special maybe trade ID. Okay, so yeah, not most don't have links. And that's not actually necessarily a trade ID, because I did some network links. So that's not going to bother anybody. So everywhere, almost everywhere, we need to connector shape. Layout basic connectors certainly is going to be a connector, and then you have to do something here. Let's set list mapping to... Oh, I'm currently not pulling out those properties. Do you want that? All right, so layout basic connectors. And then display boon connectors, then going to have to be able to take that type. And at the moment, we're only using this. Now, you are also used for duo connectors, which comes straight from layout duo boons. Which we're going to have to identify that somehow. We have to maybe do some more thinking about how. Which comes from layout duo boon, which is getting only a shape. Now this has the trait information here. I think for now we wrap this. But maybe during our duo processing we can do more intelligent things with this. Actually, we've got trait here. Now your link would not be... Well, these are actually going to end up being their own thing. We want them to do something before the trait itself is selected. So saying that the trait would be this trait ID is not going to be quite true. Group could be that. Wow, that was actually enough to make it compile. Now, no, actually lay out basic connectors. We were just pulling the shape out of there, but we've got a group and a link. Yeah, this stuff is using all our little helper things. And what can we do with that? Well, we could highlight the associated links. That might not be long-term useful, but it would get some of the availability is active data down to display boon connector. Yeah, you're just taking shape right now. The display boon connector, display boon trait takes the selected boon. I might need traits and active traits to be able to evaluate things. The simple version, we only need active traits. So why do you need traits? Ah, is available. And available is one of the states we want to wait, is available a state we want to show? Oh, actually, I might want another state. Oh no, available is the secondary state I want. You can currently. Yeah, maybe we're evaluating choices. You want a clearer idea of what that choice would get you? We can just do active for now. So we need to get active traits to display boon connector. Active traits is a set of trait IDs. If the connected trait was well, yeah, if we had gradations as a line, then showing the lines from a next level trait could be useful in really long-term planning. What did we mess up? Hmm? So it thinks we called display boon connector. Oh, there's this group. Ooh. Well, was that solvable? And we've already got a thing for line style. If set.member link in active traits I don't know if I want full white. Maybe we want those to be a little thinner. Ooh. Oh, you're a maybe. So we already have, let's see, so that means that this thing has no, well, most of these connections are going to have no association. If I maybe mapped link, I'd still have to kind of put it into an expression. Huh. Do we do the same or do we do something different with that? Let's see, we do kind of eventually want to like de-emphasize these. Or are these specifically like when that thing's not available? So maybe it does look more like that? Okay, so those are thinner. Oh, that must have been before our last build? Yeah, so that's the same thickness as that used to be. Okay. Yeah, and then we don't have any, because like that should actually be lighting up this entire thing, which gets into the whole group processing side of this. Ooh, that means that these things aren't tagged. But that's some reactivity. It's like, maybe I have to have a different attribute because there's these little things that are feeding into a big network that in many cases we're going to have overlapping lines. I don't know if I want these to be thin because this is gonna be like expressing the shape of these dependencies more. Now we need some structural stuff though. We actually want to know if that group is active. Which means, at which point we need more than this local information. kind of need the entire graph. And there could potentially be, in cases like this, there is more than one thing that's linked to a thing, so you can't do a dict, unless it's addictive lists or something. Or addictive groups that become active. Addictive list of groups that become active. And then you would be checking the group of each connector. Does layout, boon, layout basic, boon connectors have the entire layout? So we are actually in a position to do that kind of reasoning. And that would be making the highlighting decisions here, essentially. Oh, but you don't have active traits. So I actually still care about the direct relationships a little bit. Because, like, this line, actually, this is technically two groups here. I guess they're both going to be active on this. But this line is going to be part of this group. And I don't want this to widen unless... I kind of don't want this to do anything, actually, if this one isn't active. Then all of this would turn on. So it's not like everything in that group is going to light up. But I might need to do active groups as a separate calculation. And then that would simplify the point-by-point stuff. It'd be a little bit of a cache. But the calculation should be more or less the same for the group. And many groups, well, I guess some groups are pretty small. It's like one line, a few outliers. But still, there's going to be some... Could be saving us some repetition, although we'll have to be doing memory operations to save it. Would that be back at our model level? Every time something changes, we recalculate the active groups. And then between the link and the group, we can figure out how to draw that. That will involve layout information again. Because when we have an active trait, we figure out what group it's in, and that group is counted as active. This is kind of a layout operation. Group has just been a string so far. We could add like a group ID. Okay, so when we And it's just a select. We probably are going to want some kind of function because we need the post. We need the post state of this. Now, in theory, we only have to process groups that were changed. I don't know if that makes the algorithm any simpler. Well, first we have to find any group that's affected. So here, yeah, kinda. Yeah, if we find the connection that says this group was affected. Well, right now, if we find that link, then it's on. Hmm. Model with an updated active groups. Well, this is the operation we want here, which is basically. And if we have anything else that modifies the set, we can just call that. Maybe we end up calling down to a subfunction for the dirty work. So you need a layout. If we're doing it from scratch, we don't need the old active groups, and we need the active traits. All right, so we need to do, we want to go through, let's see, do we want to, top level loop, is it by the traits or by the connectors? We can go through each trait and see, well, I think a set member test for the traits is going to be easier. The layout is placements and connections. What do we need? We need all the groups that are in the active traits, and we basically turn that into a set. So list.map. Oh, you're a maybe. If I stored it as a set, I could just intersect them. If I maybe I have to kind of insert that into the middle of the expression. Now we have to have set.member. And again, is it going to be the same answer, not member or no requirements? Oh. There's a filter map, right? Well, now we actually are kind of doing a maybe thing, which makes a map look nicer. But this is still an if. Oh. This is an and then. Because we're producing a kind of a different thing. Then just group, else nothing. Okay, it doesn't work type-wise. Ah. That subfunction. Oh, I forgot the... Oh, it's right. I subgrouped them. What? That's the name of the layer, so sure. Basic lower, basic upper. Right, and these weren't tagged, so that won't light up. Actually, we could probably just go fix that. Oh. Well, that's not helping. We did... Oh, it didn't save. All right, so now we've got... Are those not in a group? Oh, they're in the same group. We haven't done any processing yet. So I basically just considered it to be sufficient to tag any one of them because these will all light up when that lights up. Okay. Hmm. So this is actually not too bad. I could have actually done this in the layout as like a let in the layout boon connectors, and then use that information to pass out some kind of visibility. All right, so layout boon connectors and display boon connectors has active traits. I guess I still need that because I might want to display the direct links differently. And suddenly, I want to actually deal with a group ID just so all of those functions can document what they're saying. Oh. Does this actually belong in there? Because this pretty much deals exclusively with connections. Maybe the model update doesn't, but this does. And this list, I'm going to get a little bit long. Oh, and group ID. You didn't have to really do that before. And you need a set. Let's see, traits is mine. All right, boon chart. Oh, this is the model of our boon chart, which I guess is just boon chart. This does get passed down to the view. This is increasingly like just the entire model. Now, I guess I could actually calculate this somewhere along this area. So we would like to do this. At its simplest level, this is just based on the group. Right, I did a sub-network thing with you, which we're not processing right now. That'll be like almost be like a second pass. Oh, yeah, and these are gonna need something else. I might actually make these like separate groups and then get them have like a special node in here. You technically need two of those, which actually makes it look like, well, that's how kind of how it technically works. All of these sets. And we just don't have any lines for you yet. I mean, I guess technically it would be this one. All right, so probably active links. If it's an active group, well, no. Because right now, we light up all of these. We don't want to light up those if they're not directly related. Or if they're related to something that's not active. So if it is a link, and we want to know if it's one of the specifically active traits, if so, it's full highlight. If it's not, it's... we kind of don't care about that one. Now, this is in the active group, so we're going to do that. If it's not in the active group, let me do something like that. Oh, it actually makes these thinner. I don't know if I like that. If it's not in the active group, then we're back to this a little bit to get that the way we want it. Or is this just if it's just, then we just show it small, else we show it inactive, inactive, inactive. And maybe it would actually be better to be doing this as the primary case, just because it's a little bit more annoying. All right, so that is obviously wrong. Oh, because we left a white down here. All right, so that's full. Oh, that didn't become a full active path. Where do we get a white? Oh, that is for. This is, that is that. Wait, so that is a active group. Okay, yeah, that's the error. Have you not compiled yet? Okay. Now, I might need to do some extra tagging. Because these kind of like leaf nodes that we really want to thin out. But this might, we just want regular lines. Or their layout might have potential crossings. So maybe I just have to explicitly tag the ones that are, you know, hairline or whatever. All right, so that leaves it. I think I tagged this subnetwork one. Oh, I did not. This is a problem to be determined. Maybe I was doing that on some of the other gods. The other thing I have to watch out for is I was like doing layer name, and now but it's actually encoding it as layer dot 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 layer. Now I think that this is an either or, because you are all of this stuff or the cast. And I didn't want to do like a whole separate line with all of these crossings. So if I just had two edges on here and we worked out group to group, which is basically a second pass, then that would work. Now, do I want to call that a different kind of link? It would require storing that as a separate trait in the data structure. But we're going to be searching different things. So that separate trait would save us having to search traits in groups and traits and vice versa. Otherwise, you could sort of cheese and unify the sets because the names aren't going to collide. And then treat those as active traits. It's just another set of traits that you've got. Might be a little bit more iteration. Do the set to find things. let's see. So our data model would actually have to keep that separate because the icons are things that user has done. But then maybe at the level of the chart, we just have like active items. Of course, I mean, we sort of wrap them up in different IDs, and then that would basically just say, yeah, it's just a bunch of strings. But if we did that, he would just be a link. And we have to start doing this and hope that's just how it works out. Although I guess I could try to wash that out on import or something. You are... Oh, did I actually just name this the trait? But it actually ends up being different because of the connector. Well, this in fact is just that. Now this is actually an entire group of things. So I guess having that not be there doesn't really matter. And this is basic upper. Well, I'm thinking I might want to remove just remove the hierarchy. Because this is strictly just kind of for me to keep track of, okay, these are all my connection layers. It's really just for editor convenience. I kind of don't want to think about it here. Well, making that one link to there would technically make this automatically light up there. That would solve one band. Our importer, what does our file look like? Okay, it never encodes the plain name. So it sounds like the sub-layer thing is almost a hack on top of the file format. Well, we're already doing we're doing a filter, not doing a map. But it is going to be wherever this is. Oh, it's probably a tag. So connection in layer, maybe in layer. Okay. Is it just string.replace? Okay. To replace, replacement. And we could actually just curry that. All right, you are saved. So right now we would expect that this bit would actually light up on you, but not on the subgroup. Right, because you're tagged, so you wouldn't have cause to activate. Oop. And we were going to see about maybe, well, can we get away without an extra pass? For certain purposes, we can. So like boon chart would just kind of become, instead of active traits, just like active items. We only have one thing to pass. Oop. And then you actually fall out, but for now we'll do that. How much does that buy me? Because active traits and active groups is very clear, but it is kind of different types of things. The idea was you could just say, is that one of the active things? Oh, the idea was we could always call this link without having to worry about what it was linking to. Well, that would only matter for lines. Would they still take two things and then just kind of mash it up? Actually, this is a group activation, so this goes back to here. So this has to be testing at this level anyway. So we kind of need two passes on you, because we have to have gone through and activated all of the groups once before we can check that again. And we actually have to have the result of that. Oh, you could be a... What's the operation? Fold. slightly more accurate. And I keep forgetting, if we don't care about the order in a set, we don't. Because, yeah, so there's the stack. Oh, allocated on the heap. Well, this is specifically to GHC, so... Yeah, so this has to do with lazy stuff, which isn't necessarily a factor for us. Maybe another search term just to get a simple answer for the efficiency question. So there's, okay, ML, which is more in the Elm family. There's just fold L. Both are curried. Infix operators. They're defaulting to fold L. In fact, that walks the list from left to right, which versus the list from right to left. Yeah, actually, yeah, for a list, I think left to right would be right. So fold L, now I do have to remember my argument order here. So it's operator initial value. So this is going to be our function. And then over that list. Now you have to take an accumulator now. Which the function is A, B to B, so B is the thing that's out, which means that's the accumulator. And we have to return the set that we want based on the result of this. So it's not really an and then? It's just back to a case. I could and then and default it probably. And set dot insert. And if it's nothing, then it's just no change. The way we wrote that out was more verbose, because we weren't using a maybe. Yeah, because before we were able to, well, we were still saying if then, if just this, else just that. Well, else nothing. And we don't need to set from list then, though. Hmm? Oh. No, you're the function. Ooh. Oh no, we need to insert group. Okay. However, this is now, well, we have to do that pass. We have to get the resulting set. And I guess, that's both the accumulator and the thing we want to be checking. But we still need to lay out duct connections again. You could probably make one big expression of it. All right, so, oh, that was, So that's that. And then the final expression is we take that in a thing very, very like this. Where active is from traits. And if link is a member of active, then we add its group. And I don't think I have any multi-step things here. That would require like multiple passes of that. But it's been a little while since I looked at them. Okay, actually this... Why aren't you on? Because I'm only checking traits for this. Maybe that's how I was thinking of doing it as all as one big active group. Because this one happens to be named the same as the trait, so that one works out. We could do an OR test there. So what would be the effect of combining them? The effect of combining them would be there'd be more things to iterate when checking these. Assuming there's some iteration involved in the set stuff. But it's only one set check for the connections instead of two. I guess you could you merge it just for those? I mean, that's still saying that these two different things are kind of the same thing. Active traits, active groups. You are using those a little bit differently. So this is making a distinction. Now, part of that distinction is these lines. So this line is part of this group, but it's not a member of active traits. It is a member of active groups. So we could either say, or we could do an if-else case. I don't know, I'm going to draw them differently. I might need an intermediate node here, because I was trying to set this up as once there's any path in here. The underlying implementation is technically that you need all three. So the ring still expresses the idea, but I might need an intermediate node there to make it work like everything else. It almost is as a tuple case, but I'm not sure that's going to add a whole lot of clarity. All right, that gets our basic connectors down. Now I'm going to have to backtrack to to figure out what the heck we do with, well, more particularly with things that deal with those. So There's no line for that one. Can we get, let's see, the closest we could get to things would be, also be easier to put in field, would be one of these that leaps one god. Oh, this actually has an extra requirement. Although we could maybe... I don't know if that alone is enough. It might not be. I think you need a basic. Yeah, we also need one of these abilities and a basic from each of them. So that's actually not going to be very easy to activate when testing. Although I guess I could boot it up with some active traits. Another one that kind of has that profile. Let's see, what was Heartrend? That was something that has a weak effect. And probably like, well, any critical ability, which is going to be almost any ability. Now you couldn't actually have both. Actually, oh, that's another thing we need to do. Somewhere in here. Slot exclusives for all your basics, because doing that should have knocked out all our strikes. Okay, so dash doesn't count. So what are we going to do with you? Something actually changed layer? And it changed layer to basic connection? It would have to be one of these things, right? Well, that would make it white. Actually, these are the things that are white. What color don't we have here? I think we have a yellow. Well, I don't see which one that was. Oh, maybe it saved my viewport. This stuff probably all just moved. So it's not a very stable format. Yeah, just reshuffle the lines for some reason. Ooh. We changed a bunch of things. Actually, we kind of did that. We need to do duo. Well, there's a couple things with duo boons. I did have an item for that. Now this might not be expressible directly in the network itself. Well, for one thing, I have to be able to load multiple gods before I can even associate it with these with groups. What can we do with just the information we currently have available? So we've got duo connectors that comes from layout duo boons. Layout duo boon, calculate duo. Right now all the meta information is just kind of being garbage there, but you're the thing that deals with, okay, here's these gods. Would I sort of manufacture... Well, I could be... Oh. I might be importing these as traits right now. I could be tagging something out here. Actually, I'm going to have to do this at some point to actually tag the connection point when we try to link those up. That doesn't have any associated to the network. So right now there's nothing in this that connects those. We could infer some things. Because the dual boons themselves, we know, have a set of prerequisites that, unfortunately, these multi-step things kind of make that a little abstract. But we know this group, for instance, is tagged with the set of things that go under its requirements, which should match up with the set of requirements we have from the trait data. And we have to do some tracing of the meta networks and things. There's going to be some weird cases where there's extra requirements and things to sort out, but that's one way we could associate it. Maybe we leave this as is and just deal with the arc. So that arc, what we're generating is some connectors. Right now the AB bit is down here. We're only returning a shape, but we could return more. So these segments get one link and one group. That happens to be the name of a duo name. We could also add a field to this that's like extra information for duos. So we do have the full trait. The full trait has its requirements. In the process of calculating duos, we did some stuff to determine if a group was from a particular god. Which, barring some of the odd other requisites like the revenge abilities, we'd be able to say, okay, well that's Poseidon or whatever. Or if we can associate it somehow with this stuff. So this is part of that network. It's not linking to anything here. We would use a different tag for that to say it's an outgoing to blah. Then you could say, is half group active? Well, we only have implicit information about which god that is. Currently, the association of edges to gods is one of the things we have to work on. So maybe that would be a useful thing to do in advance. So a duo knows which gods it belongs to. We don't have any way to associate like something in that god's area with that duo. I guess we've got these things. Now we've been doing this by God, which is big picture how that goes. Maybe you actually want to identify the ability itself, so that could be tied into the ability and its duos. And then in each of these, we would have a link to the network that's supporting that. Which we could try to do automatically, but there's going to be some weird cases. If we were to do that for the easy cases, we would want to take our connectors, we would want to look for a group that has the same set of links as one of our requirements. These are sets. I guess sets can be equal. I don't know that, though. I don't just have a generic test. Oh, this is still the original. Actually, I think did I completely remove this code? Yeah, I completely removed this code. So we would expect DXF parser test. Oh, okay. We got other things to fix. You had to become a line entity. You had to become an arc entity. Oh, this is probably decoder. And then there's that thing. So test exposing, test. What I didn't copy was the test setup. Set equality. Do we have a shortcut here? Do they have to be different lists? Okay. So sets should be able to count as equal. So if we made a set of the links in a group for easy cases. Oh, actually, in my current setup, what do we got? This, no, this doesn't have any edges that are other things. So that would work. That one would work because that's a single. Here another single. So I think, yeah, I think the only one that would be a little bit wonky. As long as none of these have, you know, it's like a call ability or something. Where would we do that? We're going to need it to somehow tag this. I wonder if I end up overlaying two lines so I can do the alternating color thing. Which raises the question of, do we try to do it as one line with pattern, or do we try to do it as two lines? Okay, so technical question. Can we do a alternating pattern of colors, or do we have to do two lines anyway? Dash pattern. Yeah, and I see a line style has a single fill. So we have to do it, at the lower level, we have to draw it as two lines. Now, it doesn't mean that's how we have to represent the data structure, because it's going to be the same information. And we have to somehow store that has to be a dashed line. So I know we do have a thing here. This gets into our accumulator stuff. We're going one to many. And if we get a 1, then it's a duo. Or 1 plus 1 is a duo. So, right. Boon type from requirements. If it's a one of, it's just that set. This we map to the god of set and then accumulate over those. So there's never anywhere where we're treating that requirement as saying this requirement is god X. Or this requirement set. And you're just a list of sets right now. And you also get used for non-duo things. But I guess this could be something that tagged if there was an exclusive god on there. Well, I can't do anything that would actually be able to light up two gods, so we don't have layouts from two gods. Well, anything based on the layout data anyway. So we need to solve that problem first. All right, so this, it's an untracked file. I don't want to leave that lying around though. This is untracked. I could leave it until we start dealing with that problem more directly. Rotating will be a thing for lining that up. Loading multiples. Oh, and that gets in part to the question of, do we store this in the God data? So do you store a layout? That'll kind of be where we need that, and the layout data, since it's per God, is always going to be grouped, and it's going to be needed to get used with the traits that are also grouped. It's just that right now, this data structure can kind of stand alone. If it includes layout, then now we have to import layout module, and it depends on that. Do we have... Well, layout is just open structure, so we've kind of been able to empty it that way. I mean, in a sense, it's going to be remote data. Ooh. In order to store it, we have to have this. Which either means I need a separate storage for the layout in case it comes in first, or we just have to actually make that an ordered thing. So that'll just be a handy thing to have. Oh. That was testing something. And you were placements. And these were just lists. All right, this can, our current layout could use this. Oh, no, this is the type. I don't... Oh, you get constructed in a decoder. Got data record. Which means you actually need layout. Oh, wait. This is what I was afraid about that with that. Now, are you using anything beside trade ID? No. So this actually, we can cheat with this like we cheated with point. As long as it doesn't turn into something more serious. So now that means that we would want to well, so we have a time dependency because we need to store that there. And fetch dxxx has to become something else. You got traits? Command none. All right, so how do we expose the list of gods here? I mean, right now, it's easy to do that. Also, did I forget? Yep. Command.batch, because there's going to be eventually be a bunch of these. You need some way to say, well, either we have a mapping. Actually, we do have a two-string on this. Although I think it's a capital D, so maybe we shouldn't be doing that. We could always downcase it. The more interesting thing which we still have to figure out how to deal with that. Oh, did we not import this? Oh, you need to go here. Okay, that lets us, I guess we could put it in both places for now. So what does traits give us for this? We can make traits, we get empty traits. That's a constructor. That just pulls that out. Now, we did something else, requirements cache. I don't think this is directly impacted. But we like do some derivative calculations at this stage, which I think happens at the decode stage. Yeah. So if we pulled them out and then stuffed them back in, we have to redo all that stuff. Well, maybe we have some more derivative calculations. Oh, normally Elm likes to do this thing last. So in here, we know it's a traits. It's a wrapped structure. We do have to update it, so we need the entire thing. This is one of the reasons I was kind of uncomfortable with the updating in place. But otherwise, I can't do a dict. Because custom types can't be keys. So I just have to have something I could do lookups on. And you're an update. Well, you're a conditional update. No, we already had that. It just wasn't lined up right. Okay. List God data. Oh, we need to return this. No, that wasn't it. Oh, God is also a wrapped value. So we could encapsulate it. And you see, now I've got to rewrap. But in order to unwrap, now we've got to do something like this. Does that work? Single case. I guess so. All right, it's going to start getting a little bit bigger. I guess this other layout's going to go away, but still. Right, syntax change. Okay, so it can stick it in there. Now there are, well, there's a couple things going on. For one thing, we can still only fetch one file. Or do we do more like God? Traits.God name. String. To lower. And I think that plus plus as an operator is not going to be the order I want. So right now we're only requesting Demeter, so we would expect that to continue to pop in. Now right now, the layout we're using, we're making assumptions about. Nope, boon chart. Well, that is just a line in here. We already got our God list. No, this is derived stuff, right? Because this is from displaying their initial stuff here. So that was just kind of the sort of initial default picture, which I almost don't even need. We did use the positions, though. Well, it's a cheap problem to solve. Oh, that did the rings. Now, I don't know if I want those rings. It's still a good reference for the time being, though. Now, maybe it would make sense to go through and do each god's things in that segment. Although there might be some layering stuff I'd want to resolve there. Layout basic boons. And you see, that's taking a layout. So we have laying out the boons and displaying them, and layout is the thing that we have in an individual god. If we switch that over to do a single one at a time, and you were taking metrics, which gives you the centers. So we would still have to have kind of done this. Now, wait a minute. How do we concat map, layout basic boons, center? We're adding center to our points. Wait a minute, wait, this is the basic boons. But it's going to operate very similar to basic connectors. Oh, no, we did do the layout in here. Did I not need... I need one of these for intermediate stuff and the other not? No. Just kind of how it fell out. There's going to be things slightly different here. But for symmetry... Wait. Yeah, you're mapping to display. And actually, these could have been combined. These got some slightly different parameters. But I might end up having to do some special display stuff with these, so I don't know if that's worth combining just yes yet. So you would actually turn into like a list of lists. Well, maybe I could like cat map that. So model.layout, this will be the individual god's layout. I also have to pass the god, which that can get bumped up. I guess this could actually take a god data? Well, I'd have to give accessor methods because I kind of wrapped that up. And I'm going to have to deal with that at some point. That was the only reason we did metrics. That's the only reason we have God. Oh, layout affects boon positions too. That's the step. Ooh. Which we have to actually finish passing this stuff. Layout basic boons. Wait, you have to get offsets, right? But you got full God data. Which is how we're getting that there. Oop. Because you also needed the list of boons from it. Oh, but the layout's going to become part of that. So that might be a better way to go. Now this ends up in a loop, so it wouldn't be a bad thing to pull out. Now, we don't have an accessor for this. We have a way to get, yeah. A bunch of fields. And then we can like do something like that. Oh, you actually were unhappy here. Oh. Okay, I see what happened here. But this also has to change to layout. All right, so now you don't need this argument. Oh, this actually goes all the way up. And we want the same thing with this. Wait, does that... Oh, you're actually a looper around traits. Because we had no connectors in either gods before. So connectors, but that is really going to be... layout basic of... So you're going to become of... Now, what were you? You were a god data, which is the wrapped thing. I'm just calling you data. Yeah. That naming can still be improved. Traits, all gods, concat map, layout, basic connectors of... All right, you had that layout, which is going to become... Now this we kind of use once the loop. Oh. No, you got individual. This is... Oh no, data. Data layout. Connections. God. There's that data god. Body is a list connector. Layout basic connectors. Oh, because I copied this thing that was boons. Okay. So that's still working. But we're using layout data if available in each individual god, and we might. So say I could start just doing that. And if something goes awry, we're still using it. Okay, so that's there. Now, for the most part, these only matter within their individual charts, excepting duo boons. But I don't want to be updating active groups all the time in each chart. All right, do we have any other references lying around? Oh, the view was passing it down. Which means Boon Chart is expecting it. All right, so the way to patch this in is to just iterate. I guess you do a fold and set union. I don't think there's a like merge set of list of sets. But I might want to think about doing this on an individual group basis. Or I have something that merges all the layouts. All right, so the model has access to everything. This is going to be this could almost be a thing in traits, since it already has a dependency on layout. Although I'd have to get the active traits. Oh, I guess I just imported all of layout. Probably imported all the traits too, didn't I? No, I got a little bit more reserved with that. How much of layout do we need? Especially at this top level. Okay, group ID I could sort of see. The answer is not very much. As I might want to do calculate active groups in traits. It'll have easier access to all the gods and details of stuff. Calculate active groups. You're going to take, I guess, the active traits. And traits, and you're going to return a set of group ID. I think you only need this. We're going to take gods. We're going to... This is where we have to do the fold, because it's going to return sets. Fold all on a function. Now, before we were calling that calculate layout once. Now, I don't think I want... expect or want this to be dealing with cross-group connections. So we did two passes here. One was to get the internal connections that depended on themselves. I don't think... Yeah, we never actually included that in the set. So this is where we only care about your layout. And I guess technically the arguments on this should be reversed, which actually we can kind of see from how this was set up. Because usually they do the thing that this is part of last. Now, that's just calculating stuff. This needs to be... Oh, and you need a accumulator. The accumulator was the second argument? This is not insert, this is union. All right, and you go to traits, given, active traits, and model.traits. I guess this is the first time you had to deal with groups. Does not expose. Okay, so that solves that problem. Now, we might be working. We might not. Okay, that works. Cool. Now the really interesting part. Now I'm actually not completely remembering if we've fixed everything else in the boon chart. Oh, that's right. We got the traits, so well, let's so you might be an extra special case. Oh, we clicked something. And there's actually... There's a set that's not showing up here. But it was kind of that's a little bit of a weird thing, so that's probably fine. Oh. Yes. This is a connector to an outline here, and I don't know why that outline didn't import. So that's something we're going to have to discover. Also, I don't remember this line crossing like that. So that might just be a data error. No, that should be going to the aid, which has things going both ways. So unfortunately, it looks like it's kind of crossing there. Whereas one of these, if we could click them, would not light that up. All right, now we're messing around with Hermes. Okay. A little cramped. We're gonna need some kind of backing for it. And figure out something to do with these. So, can we use the traits we just got? Ooh, okay. Some of the DXF parsing is a little bit slow. You didn't notice it in one before. And I'm missing a lot of lines. So I've got to figure that out. It sort of makes sense. That probably shouldn't be doing that. Okay, yeah, these are the two doom traits, or primary doom traits. What the heck is this hit detection? And this is actually a network thing that is actually not working. So fabulous. I don't know what happened with Dionysus. I know there's a bunch of maybe it failed because because it doesn't recognize ellipse. But we should have at least positioned the icons. Artemis is a royal mess. Actually, some of this stuff, I think I typoed some of these and they're not showing up in the right place. Oh, you know what? I bet I misspelled Dionysus. And I like copy pasted that throughout all of it. Hmm. Maybe I do have to use the streaming DXF parser. Well, I mean, really, ultimately, I want to do not DXF parsing, but we're going to have some rapid iteration cycles to fix some of these things. Like, why aren't your edges showing up? But we did get loading in. We have loaded them. We have missing lines in Aphrodite. We have missing lines in Zeus. Well, actually, there was some other stuff in Poseidon that was like specifically an unimplemented feature. And maybe some others where I did that. I guess this is a feature like import errors. We still have to see if they look good. We have typos in Artemis. We have bad line in Aries. We have typos in Dionysus. And I kind of have to go through all of these charts and fix up a bunch of things. Or go through them one by one and fix up all the connections. Which it might be nice to get some of that done. All right, so this is a big one. This is probably something small. This is probably something small. Oh yeah, Artemis was one of the early ones we did. Because it was going to be such an awkward setup. I guess there is nothing at the point, actually. Well, it still feels like that is something is like just, yeah, these two are misplaced. Definitely. Critical super generation, critical buffer. Well, that's one of them. Is it? If I can hit it, which I can't. Oh, I can change the line color though. Actually, that's correct. This is completely blocked out. Critical buffer multiplier trait. I saw something change there. All right, and critical super generation trait. Oh, maybe it's overlapped down here somewhere. Or actually, is that these things on the wings? Oh yeah, I never did do any extra stuff out there. So you two are both AWOL. Well, there's critical super generation. It's not Artemis. And shield load ammo Artemis ranged trait. Oh, did I just never put that on here? Yeah, that was one I kind of punted on. It's probably just going to kind of go as an adjunct to here, but I do have to think about what the lines are at some point. Of course, I haven't identified it with any lines, so it's not actually going to light anything up. Okay, so that fixes up the obvious problem there. Is that right? Okay, so we did the line and then the arrowhead. Maybe I do want to put these as the wings. Also, we've got some overlap here, but I guess the main reason I did that is because it's all off this line. And so we kind of got to leap over if we do that. Now, I know the ellipses aren't going to go in. The edges are... Oh, I just never tagged his boons. That's probably one of the last ones that I did. So I never quite finished it up. Forgot that I wasn't quite finished. All right, so we've got a couple of these are going to be predictable. Oh, I kind of need that, don't I? Weapon trait. Wait, weapon. Yeah, you're in the middle. Secondary. Yeah. Rush. And you were aid, which was shout. did I load the right one? Yeah, you're in public. Oh, the casts are down here. Anything else easy? So now we actually have to figure out what things are. So that's peer pressure. That's high tolerance. That's blackout. Combo vulnerability. This was just kind of arbitrarily two things. So numbing sensation. And bad something. Bad influence, probably. Poison power trait. Got peer pressure, and then these were just kind of leftovers. Strong drink after something. No, there are no prerequisites. So after party, strong drink, probably positive outlook, and premium. Yeah, premium vintage. So that's that series. And I don't know if I had any. So those are the two. Oh, that's door heat. Well, that's a low health thing. Fountain. So those are two low health things. So door heal trait. Low health defense trait. Fountain damage bonus trait. And Dionysus gift drop. I should probably see if I can do something that specifically calls out things that don't get placed. Okay. The basic ranged shot didn't get placed. Range trait. Ups the symmetry a little bit. Oh, yeah, I'm seeing some like lineups here that I don't know if I like. Because this is all round. So probably these things need to move a little bit to break that up. They were just kind of extra space. Well, this was trying to fit into that little bubble. But the shape of these ends up making it look a stronger line. And then, yeah, these end up close. So just trying to optimize for the space here created an awkward shape. It kind of ends up close to these other corners. All right. Well, that's more of a design issue, not a usability issue. All right. So what do we do in Aries? And I still have to do connection checks and everything, but I can't even see a lot of your connections. And some of the subnetwork things are off. So oh, your attack special network. No, you're a prereq to this. Now wait. Oh, that maybe that is right. No, because you're rush, you're shout. Oh, this might be a thing that we use for other gods. Okay, yeah, that's like all used for other gods only. And it is attack special and these two. So it is actually accurate to say that this whole thing lights up when this network goes. We're only going to use the outputs for duos. Oh, I know why you're missing, because I did this as multi-lines, because it was easy. Is there a more proper name for that? Polyline, maybe? That's a spline. Polyline. Which puts it kind of into this category of things to fix. So actually we don't have connector items there because we have no way to import those items. If I imported them, if I got as far as importing them into the layout, then they would at least exist for connection stuff. Although, well, polyline's just part of a group. I don't yet have a way to link the Zeus polyline or the area things. Ellipses just to their shape. So if I imported that and then like punted on the drawing part of it, Unfortunately, how much of this do I need? All right, so this was a very large. Your actual icon was very, very large, but this doesn't feel. Well, I guess I've got the extra lines out here. We might also need to get them in proper position. And maybe making notes on design issues. This isn't a design issue. And that kind of goes into scale too, but. Uh, all right, we don't have all of our connections set up. Okay, so all this is going into you, which means that this thing should be lighting up, but we don't have any way to... This is an area issue, which we don't have a way to do yet. And a click issue. So that is technically all one... Actually, that means you're not tagged. Actually, there might be some overlapped lines there. I think I've only flipped layers off here. Oh yeah, what is this garbage? And you... Zeus, bonus, bolt, well, what is it? Oh, that's probably Zeus bonus bolt trait. Okay, click on it. Oh, but that makes this white too. Oh, no, that's a thin line. Okay. I guess it was just all the overlapped stuff. We're missing lines here, so it's going to be really hard to... Yeah, so the icons are good. Well, I guess these are all part of the same group, so they're... We have some very short lines here. Right. Are you one that didn't get properly assigned? Ah, that's the flare. But according to the data, it counts. Now, it might count for these and not count for this God connection over here. Which is one of the little details we've kind of glossed over here. That doesn't seem... Oh, we turned this one on, not that one. Okay. So if that was part of this network, it would light this up even though that was invalid. Hmm. I'm looking at the meter. We've kind of got that, and we don't have most of your lines. Ooh. No, that's the one that gets pointed to. Can I turn it back off, please? Ooh. Okay, none of those are tagged. Those are all independent. Oh, maybe this is a one of each. Yeah. But oh, that means I never made the links either. There's only a couple of them, right? I have to pull the Dionysus again, though. I have to think about those a little bit. You rush? Wait. Am I missing some of the lines there? Oh yeah, because this entire thing was that these were implicitly connected. So actually, I still have to define entire lines here. So you, Dionysus is just implicit lines. Oh yeah, that's a design issue. I probably just thought I finished it and didn't. Oh, this is something didn't get properly tagged. And that's the shell, which we don't have an icon for. I mean, that might be a further down thing. Can't get the thing behind there. Can't click on that one. Yeah, so these enable all of this stuff. What's wrong with you? Oh. Counter start offensive buff trait. Okay, so that's just there. It must be misspelled. And counter start offensive buff trait. Yeah, something changed a little bit there. Okay, so you're off to the side. Can I click on something? Oh, I clicked on that thing itself. Not one of its prerequisites. I might have to make an excursion to fix this. You figure it'd be like just like an ordinary HTML click event. Oh, I probably overlinked these. Yeah. Just kind of doing it by rote. Oh, now I can. Now that they're small, I can click them. I guess maybe they technically got larger. Now that they're an overlapped mess, I can click them. What's this? Oh. Interesting. So this one only works off of your aid. This is one that works off of any god, but we don't have those rules yet. Did I do a ring there? Yeah. Well, that's not necessarily the shape of his thing, but it actually does have this slightly more angular effect to it. Oh, this is probably an Any Gods one. Seems like there should be a line there. Oh, you're a full circle. Oh, which might... Yeah, we have specific things that link to that. Why? Oh, I haven't done a linkage here. Into this thing. So this is actually part of that group, but this isn't? Okay, so you have the direct hookup. You're part of the deflect group. You're part of the deflect group. You're part of the deflect group. This is obviously part of that group. Why aren't you lighting up? Oh, did you get tagged? No. Well, that kind of looks like it has a thinner line on it. So for some reason it thinks it's tagged. It is drawing, so I don't think it's an angle issue, or a too wide an angle. Oh. I wonder if it's gets a little weird. I might have to shift to do some different tagging of these. That's riposte, which that's its own little line. Okay, just similar color. Unless deflect is, I don't think deflect is the name of an ability or anything that we get confused. Okay, so that does count for you. That's the only thing that actually counts for. Right, this is the regular shot. This is going to be for other gods, I think. So this is probably going to bias us to have this over here. Okay, so pressure points is actually always available. Wait, was I thinking that was a prereq for pressure points? But if it's always available, which according to the data it is. But maybe there's a separate check there for like any. You see, this says it's supposed to be lighting up all of these, but none of those networks are highlighted. Ridiculous. Oh, actually, you have some issues yourself. Right, we kind of got halfway through fixing this. Artemis supporting fire trait. Ooh. Now you technically need to get lit up from something there. And you get lit up from, actually this is the one of several casts thing. So this is probably a mistagged, untagged edge, yes. I thought it was an input. Oh yeah, beep, 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 beep. Goes around there. These other things, now we can do it. Light up all the different connections. Which kind of look like they overlap that, even though they're not part of it per se. And we can't turn it off. And we already kind of went through Zeus. So that is sort of the initial bug fix pass on that. Is that good enough? And that was a previous thing that had the temp file in there. Certainly not final. What are you? Oh, you're a little connection thing. You're part of layer O. I might not have the rest of layer basics, so it's got a little bit confused. I don't know why it's active, though. Wait, did we figure out Athena? No, we didn't. Aphrodite, jump always on. Oh, is there a conflict with these? Oh, we've got a name overlap. One way to solve that would be to put the sub group back. I would have to manually insert that into any links to groups. Or rather, put it back and it change C to like the god name or something. And we didn't see the rest of that line showing it because the rest of the line just doesn't exist. I never looked at Hermes. I mean, you don't have as much going on. Oh, this was, oh, there's a missing thing down here. And you might not be, I think you belong up here, actually. Bansu. So this goes into all of these things as a prereq for those things. So this is just a thing. These lead to those. These lead to those. And this design feels very crowded. It's very long this way, though. Wait, what are you? Oh, any call. Yeah, this is an unsolved problem. Oh, wait. Bad news. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Unstored damage, bonus damage trait. Okay, that's supposed to be one of our terminal things here. Maybe I misattributed what bad news was. Oh, bad news. Unstored damage bonus trait. Speed damage trait. Move, well, that's the two things I do. Move speed, that's fine. You have two ammo reload. Oh, ammo reload traits. So you belong here. So that's a typo. It's kind of hard. It's hard to see. Unstored ammo damage bonus trait. Unstored ammo. I don't typoed something. Oh, that was like an entire extra word. So lots of little things to fix up. I still have to figure out how duo connections work. I wonder if a name collision is one of the things that's affecting that Athena line. The deflect would have been a pretty standard one. Or maybe no, because I'm just putting that, kind of calling it in the group. I have to think the same color. They shouldn't really be colliding though. I might want some other lines in here before I deal with scale. It's not necessarily looking too bad right now. In terms of like Athena, Zeus, and Poseidon-ish seemed a little bit bigger than the others. Oh, we don't need QCAD. That could really get moved out. And it was kind of an early test file. Actually, wasn't that get copied from here? Maybe? Or maybe even from this directory. Yeah. It's basically a copy of that. So this was like an early working thing. This is a template when I was kind of mass producing things. Might not need those. All right, so to do all of Dionysus stuff, we've that's the general thing to think about. That's just a thing to investigate. Is this a data thing or a code thing? And maybe that's getting good enough to drop the words, but maybe I actually want to get the god icons in as well. I'm still unsure if there's a, well, certainly at maybe this kind of scale where you would go down to just the god icon. I'm pretty sure I'm going to want to drop off like words, maybe simplify images down to just like a little diamond. And then it would eventually just drop out. And of course, I guess I probably need to put a limit on zooming as well. That might just be a better solution. All right, it's late enough. That's what I'm usually on. The weekday evenings are kind of an as I feel like it thing. Guaranteed coding days is actually going to be the mornings, which is Monday and Saturday. I've been feeling pretty good so far this week, but we'll see if that holds up. Let's see, I see some Unity game dev, and that's something that's working with an editor, which might not be too unlike what we're doing with our CAD here. So thanks for watching. Thanks for support from subscribers. And if you're looking for a place cool to hang out, actually, I'm not sure how he pronounces this. CSKDES. Doing some game dev right now, and that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Good night, and until next time.